Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Because the Reds played a good baseball game yesterday. They did. We were all impressed. We dominated. On Chatterbox Reds, Trace said it, Nick said it. The Reds played well. I mean, outside of some little blunder, outside of that in the ninth inning, the Reds played a damn good baseball game. And I wanted to start with a couple of them. I want to start with Hunter Greene. I said yesterday on the 6-hour show that Hunter Greene is going to lead the Reds in WAR this year. And I said it because I believe in him as a leader. Yeah. I believe in him as a key contributor, as a consistent important piece of the starting rotation. He is the fundamental core of what we've got going in our starting rotation. And what we got going is special. We got a lot of names down in the minors that are going to come up this season. We got a lot of names up here that are good. We've got a good starting rotation. It starts with Hunter Greene. Hunter Greene somehow, and this was a David Bell knock, didn't get to start on opening day last year. Hunter Greene needs to be the opening day pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years. Until he physically is unable to. Until he physically cannot. Hunter Greene's our opening day starter because what he brings is so much fun. It's fire. It's electricity. He started that game, striking out 4 of the first 6. It's awesome watching Hunter Greene throw the baseball. And outside of a 2-run home run that I'd argue.
In an 11-pitch at bat.
In an 11-pitch at bat, shout out Elliott. That's right. Not Elliott, Helliott. Outside of that, Hunter Greene threw about as well as you could for your first time out. Yeah. 5 innings. I would have liked him to go one more, but he said post-game, I didn't have all my stuff, so I understand it. I get it. I'm not making fun of Terry Francona for that call. I just like to see pitchers go as far as they could possibly go.
Goes exactly against everything I just said about emptying the tank to try to win on opening day. But 1 out of 162, if your ace and the guy that we're putting so much weight on to be one of the best players on this entire team says he doesn't have his stuff 84 pitches into a game, go to the bullpen.
That's right.
Completely okay with that move, especially after saying that afterwards. I'm not going to lie, I was definitely frustrated during the game because anytime I'm watching a Reds game and Hunter Greene's pitching and he comes out of the game, I'm frustrated because he's incredible to watch. Yesterday really just affirmed everything that I thought about him. He's every bit of the ace we expected him to be. I'll bring it up every time we end up talking about how great Hunter Greene is because I remember one of the first shows we did with Justin Kinner, it was up at the Memorial, and I said it's not even a question. It's not even close between Hunter Greene and Nick Lodolo who the team's ace was, and you guys said I was crazy.
I did.
We're sitting here now, and I don't even know if we all consider Nick Lodolo the 2. And that's not necessarily a point to knock on Nick Lodolo. It's what we've seen from Hunter Greene so far and what he did last year. And, I mean, the fact that he went 5 innings yesterday, and it was just, I mean, I know he allowed the home run, but it's complete and utter dominance of just mowing down batter after batter. Whether, the Reds, get it all figured out and they're able to, push for the Central and push for the playoffs, or if they don't, we're going to have an awesome every 5th day.
Yeah.
I texted one of my friends when I was down in the dumps yesterday, and I said, the Reds might win 82 games, but I get to watch God pitch every 5th day and Jesus play shortstop. Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun this year. And I think that's the biggest thing from yesterday. Obviously, Hunter with a great day, but the other guys that we put so much pressure on, to see Ellie get on base twice and get a walk, and get on base 3 times, 2 hit and a walk, and then to score 2 runs in the opening day game and just really get those juices flowing of, this is what he does. And the fact that, he scores and Gavin Lux gets out at third, because I'm willing to guess Gavin Lux has never played on a baseball team where that ball's not going home.
Yeah.
Because Ellie's sitting in the dugout by the time that, the cutoff man gets the ball. So, there is still a lot of positives. I know Matt McClain went 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts. He also had 2 really hard hit balls that went to the warning track. This is his first, major league action in over a season. I know spring training and all that stuff, but he missed all year last year, and opening day is such a big jump from spring training, and he looked, as good as 0 for 5 can look in terms of, getting up to the plate, having good at-bats, and then the ground ball that ended up, putting the Giants out of reach for the Reds, just barely out of the reach of his glove. So, I mean, this game, as hard as it is to swallow, there is a lot of bright spots in this organization and with this team going into, the next 161 games in the next 3 years or whatever with, this core and Terry Francona at the helm. The 17 strikeouts for this pitching unit yesterday. And I know Ian Gibaut is the antichrist
This
right
is
now.
This is positive segment.
Even,
no Ian Gibaut talk.
He even added one, is what I'm saying.
He did.
So I mean, this pitching rotation, we complained about the bullpen all day yesterday. Is if not the outfield, and it's the bullpen that's going to hold this team back. And the first 3 relievers out of the bullpen mowed down the Giants. And I'm not sitting here acting like the Giants are the Dodgers or the Yankees or some World Series favorite, but they're a formidable team who is at the very least on the Reds level. And I mean, the Reds, as we've said time and time again, dominated that game. A CES home run, and I think it was the biggest smile he's ever had on his face. It's nice to see him, start the season off, pretty well. Yeah, double. Sorry, not a home run. He had a home run last year on opening day. Hopefully, he can keep the momentum going a little bit more this year than he did last year. But there's a lot of guys, and then obviously Candelaria with the 3 RBIs. I mean, these are guys that we talked about have to take a big step in order for the Reds to be competitive this year, and they blow it in the 9th, but most of those guys looked like the role we want them to play this year.
And I think Mr. Mo said it in the chat. The at-bats that the Reds took yesterday, outside of Spencer Steer, and I know this is a positive segment, we're going to have to talk about Spencer Steer eventually.
We are.
I think the at-bats were better yesterday than I've seen them in a year and a half. They were composed. They took their time. They weren't aggressive. They weren't chasing. Again, outside of Spencer Steer. That's my guy, but come on, buddy. That's my guy. They looked so good yesterday. And there's something to watching brilliance. Hunter Greene is brilliant.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. I promise you, I'm not the world's leading expert in baseball. God knows there's more people in this office right now that know more about baseball than me. But I can tell you right now, there's not every team has a Hunter Greene. Not every team gets to watch that. And by the way, we talked about it yesterday. He signed a 6-year, $50 million contract. A 6-year, $50 million contract for a bona fide ace. A guy who's going to win a Cy Young eventually in his career. 6 years, $53 million. Are there incentives in that contract? Hell yeah, there are. And if he gets to hit every incentive, good for us and good for him. That is a steal, man. And Hunter Greene's dominating on that contract. I hope he hits every incentive and becomes a billionaire. I don't know how much the incentive stuff is worth. I really don't. I would have to reread that whole entire contract. But I know there's a lot of that in there. 6 years, $53 million for a guy that's absolutely spectacular. That's one of the best contracts in Major League Baseball. Truly, one of the best, maybe in the last 25 years. Unbelievable contract with how good he is. In terms of the other guys that Jacob just mentioned yesterday, I thought TJ Friedl looked okay. I mean, 2 hits yesterday. I'm not going to complain. He had an RBI in the 9th inning there. I think TJ Friedl is going to be a serviceable leadoff guy. I know that.
I have Hunter's bonuses if you would like those.
I would love them.
$2 million for a Cy Young.
Give it to him.
In the mix for that, for sure. I mean, probably for the rest of this contract. $1 million for each second or third place Cy Young finish.
Okay.
Certainly could be in the mix for that. $750,000 for a 4th or 5th place finish. $500,000 for a 6th to 10th place finish. And then $200,000 for each All-Star selection, totaling $18.2 million over the length of his contract, which is almost the contract.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he certainly has a lot of space there to add a lot of money there. And obviously, we know last year he hit on a couple of those incentives, finishing high enough in the Cy Young and making the All-Star game. So, I mean, certainly well on his way to maxing out that contract.
He is incredible, and I hope he hits every incentive on that contract.
I will not miss a Hunter Greene start this year. In terms of watching I obviously can't make them all. They play them all away and get into games in the afternoon and whatever's tough. I will not miss a Hunter Greene start, whether it's TV or radio. You have to watch him pitch or listen to him pitch. When he's on the mound, there are not 10 pitchers better than him in baseball.
No.
Especially when he's on.
Unbelievable. In terms of the offense, like Jacob said, he rattled off some of those names. I'm going to rattle them off too. Ellie De La Cruz I'm telling you right now, if Ellie De La Cruz's plate discipline, if his plate approach is going to be what I saw yesterday, that guy's going to win the MVP.
Yeah.
He's going to win the MVP. He is so good. The step that he's taken in just a year and a half, 2 years at the plate, it's magnificent. It's legitimately magnificent. I hope the power comes this year. He hasn't tapped into that full power yet. Still not a 30 home run guy. I'm telling you right now, if he plays baseball like he did yesterday, he's going to hit 30 home runs, and eventually he's going to get those steals in too. It was impossible to steal yesterday against Patrick Bailey, but Ellie De La Cruz looked fantastic.
With that plate discipline as well, it's not even just the home runs. Obviously, lengthening at bats, getting better pitches is going to help with that, but it's going to be more walks and it's going to be less strikeouts. And how many times, I mean, if Elly De La Cruz is on base, how many times is he scoring? So just the fact that, that OBP seems to be trending in the right direction in terms of how he's handling these at-bats it's more significant for him than anyone else, because the percentage of time that he turns, 2 feet on first base into a home run or into scoring a run is absolutely unbelievable. And I would argue, and I don't think it's an argument anyone would push back against, that he probably does that better than anyone in the MLB.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that he continues to progress at honestly such a rapid rate is remarkable. And that's why, I mean, it's the same thing we just said about Hunter Greene. I mean, anytime Ellie's out there, I'm going to be hard-pressed to find a reason not to watch, because who knows how long we're going to have him here. So we're going to have to appreciate this greatness as long as he's wearing that Reds uniform. Whether the bullpen's good or not, we still have him playing shortstop, and that's going to be incredible.
We have 2 guys on this team that, I mean, if any other major league team had them, they'd win a World Series. I'm pretty confident in that. I mean, outside of the small, I guess I'll exclude some of the small market teams like the Athletics, the White Sox, the Pirates. Some of those guys, yeah. If any other big market team had these 2, they'd be the best. They'd be the MVP, Cy Young front runners. They'd be the face of the league, and they still are, by the way. Here in Cincinnati, they still are the face of the league. That's just how good we've got it right now with the Reds. Going again through the rest of some of these guys, Matt McClain, again, Jacob kind of mentioned it. No hits, but he did look good. He looked about as good without a hit as you could look. So for what that's worth, I know that doesn't mean anything. But for what that's worth,
the only reason that means something to me is because we haven't seen him in a year.
Yeah.
I mean, if he would have came out there, and with all due respect to your guy, if he would have came out there and took, the hack Spencer Steer was taking for most of the day yesterday, I wouldn't feel great about the rest of this season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just to see him, I know it was 0 for 5. I know we don't like to put a lot of weight into, exit velocity and stuff that, ultimately results in an out, because it is an out. It's not a hit. But just Matt McClain in a vacuum, in and of himself, I think it's so important. He's so important for the trajectory of this Reds franchise, that every little win in terms of his progression or his return to what we've seen before is so massive for this team.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take every single one I can find.
Jeimer Candelario is another guy. Jacob mentioned it again. 3 RBIs. He had 2 hits, including a major go ahead. I guess was it a go ahead? Yeah, it was the go ahead first run of the game RBI.
Yeah.
Which I love. 2 outs. Ellie's able to get on base, and Jeimer brings him home. Like, that's the stuff that we need from a veteran leader of this team. And that's what I think Jeimer Candelario could and should be this year. I know it was down last year, but him, along with about 90% of the roster, was hurt.
Yeah.
So I think some of those numbers last year that you saw from him were skewed. Jeimer Candelario, the Candyman can. And I do think you're going to see an improved Jeimer this year. Defensively, he looked okay. I know there's worries about that. I thought he looked fine. There wasn't a ton of balls hit at him, I would say, but I thought Jeimer looked serviceable. And again,
he chased the one ball all the way to the net that ended up foul. I mean, certainly towards the back half of last
right.
year, he wasn't doing that.
That's right.
So, I mean, if we're looking for silver linings, I guess you can find some there.
That's right. CES looked comfortable. As a guy who's not the biggest CES believer, I was impressed with what I saw out of him yesterday. He looked smooth. Jacob said it. Just to see him smile on second base, have fun out there, that's what we want to see. I want to see my guys confident and strong and having fun. Mr. Mo said it in the chat, and I don't even know if I said it, but again, their at-bats yesterday were all so good.
Yeah.
They were incredible. And now we'll go to the guy, unfortunately, that I didn't want to bring up, but I have to bring up. Spencer Steer shouldn't be on the Reds right now.
No.
He shouldn't be on the Reds. Maybe it's an overreaction, but I have a hard time believing a guy who wasn't supposed to be on the roster, but then Austin Hayes got hurt, so now he's on the roster, should be on the roster.
He's only here because they need the body, right? I mean,
they need the bat.
You can't run out a major league lineup of bats without Spencer Steer right now with Hayes hurt.
And I get it. I get the rationale behind it, but those at-bats from Spencer Steer were woeful. They were woeful. They were garbage. And he was like, I was watching that first at-bat, I don't know if you guys remember, and yeah, he did get a little bit hosed on a call, should have been a walk. He was begging for walks. Yeah. And you can't do that as a professional hitter, as a DH. There's other positions where you can beg for walks. His job this year is not that. So Spencer Steer, I'm very concerned about. I know this is a positive segment, but he's got to be better.
I'm not as
concerned. If he's up, he has to look like a competitive athlete.
For sure, 100% I agree. And I think this goes back to what we talked about 2 days ago when Justin asked us, would you have him DH like he did in that Dayton game if he's not 100% healthy? And I think we both unanimously said no. And I think that's what we saw yesterday was an objective answer to that question. That was not Spencer Steer in the batter's box. At least not the version that we need in order to be remotely competitive this year. So I don't know what the answer is. I don't know all the MLB rules in terms of rehab assignments and IL dates and everything along those lines. But you got to figure out a way to get him healthy. And I don't think the solution to that is to have him DH for a Reds club just because you need a bat. And maybe it's a 5-day solution until Austin Hayes comes back, and then you send him down or you send him to the rehab or however that's going to work. And, you make that work from there once you get Hayes back. But I don't even know if running out a Hurtubise or a Blake Dunn is worse than that version of Spencer Steer.
It's not.
You put them in the outfield, you DH Gavin Lux, or you put Lux at third and DH Candelario. I think you have a lot of options there for how you can make this lineup work without Spencer Steer. And the version we saw yesterday, there is no reason in my mind that version should be playing for the Reds.
Casey?
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing that you guys haven't really pointed out yet, and it's more of a whole team effort, is that when things did get bad in the bottom of the ninth and there's 2 outs, they still kept fighting.
Yeah.
They were 10 feet away from tying the ball game. I mean, I love Matt McClain, and he didn't look the greatest, but there was a couple good things to point out there. But the team didn't give up. And I think that's the big thing that maybe last year we might have not seen that with David Bell. I do think that this team plays a little bit harder for Terry Francona. I know it's very subjective. It's a very opinion-based here this point, but I do think that yesterday I saw some fight, and I think that that's a positive moving forward with this team.
The YouTube thing is kind of weird. You watch YouTube videos and they all say the same thing: like and subscribe, and they say it because it helps out. So if you're watching right now, if you don't mind just hitting the little thumbs up for us, leave a comment after the show, subscribe, do all those things that YouTube people ask you to do. I watch a Mr. Beast video and they say all those things. So like the stream for us, subscribe, and keep watching Chatterbox Sports. We got a lot of Reds content.
Share. That's right, Casey.
Share.
I did think all that was nonsense, and I hated it, and it annoyed me. And then I started working in this business, and it means the world.
Oh yeah, it means a lot.
Likes and shares and comments and subscriptions, everything that means the world. So thank you to everyone that supports. And I think you were saying earlier, Casey, a lot of the people that watch the show every day aren't even subscribed to the channel. So gotta make sure that changes too.
Yeah.
So everybody, again, thank you very much for tuning in today on this Friday. I know it's gloom and doom because the Reds lost, but I'm telling you right now, I have so much positivity regarding that game.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We're 0-1. That's a win. I'm just gonna say it right now. It counts as a win because the Reds dominated that game. If the Reds missed the playoffs by 1 game, I'm gonna give them the fake banner and say you made it.
Are you gonna become a luck stat guy this year?
Oh, which one?
The luck stat. And the Reds' record is just whichever games they were over for 50% luck.
Unlucky. And that's what they are. They were unlucky yesterday.
They were. You can't really argue that. I
don't even know if they were unlucky.
But you can hang your hat on that in 1 game.
Yeah.
If you're unlucky, what were they last year? 15 and 18 in 1-run games? That's not unlucky.
Yeah.
So, one game, we can call it unlucky.
It was kind of like
it's got to be 1 game.
It's kind of like you guys don't go to the casino that much anymore.
Yeah.
When I play roulette, right? I got a system. With how I do it. I do it the same way every single time. And eventually, I got a group of 3 different 4-number clusters. I put like $10 in each one of those clusters, and I keep going. I go. Eventually, if that keeps doing well, then I get crazy. And then I start putting 100 down on red and 100 down on green, and I just start losing my mind. It felt like that's what Terry Francona did yesterday. It felt like he was just up by 1 million. He had all the money in the world, and he's like, I can't lose today. Let's go. Let's put 100 on 36.
I know I think this was supposed to be a positive segment again, but it legitimately, to me, it feels like Terry Francona thought that the game was an inning shorter.
But he might have been. He might have. And again,
the 3 pitchers, 2 strikeouts apiece, the 3 best pitchers in the pen, at least, in terms of our thoughts going into the game. Basically, in the order we would have expected, 7, 8, and 9. And then you go to Ian Gibaut. He might have, he's been out of the game for a whole year.
Yeah.
Maybe he thought they were 8 innings now. We've had this pitch clock and all that stuff. Maybe he thought Manfred went over the edge. I don't know.
Don't do this to yourself, Jacob.
Maybe that's I think he's
I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help here because I cannot. We're supposed to be off Ian Gibaut. I cannot wrap my head around it at all.
Well, it just doesn't make sense. Like everybody who wants to I heard nothing but complaints and moaning and whining and crying about every little move David Bell made last year.
Every single one.
He didn't make a move that bad all last year.
Not once.
I'm sorry if you disagree, and you are entitled to your opinion. David Dell did not make that terrible of a decision at all last year. I love Terry Francona. He's my guy.
He's gonna be better than David Bell.
We got jerseys of him over here.
I do.
That move yesterday was so laugh out loud bad that it's going to take about a month to process that. Oh yeah, we could have had one more as long as our manager, our Hall of Fame manager, didn't put in the one guy that everybody in the known universe knows not to put in. No disrespect, of course.
None.
Let's be positive.
Of course.
Casey mentioned it right before the break. Terry Francona, they play harder. Casey, you're right. I mean, flat out yesterday they looked more fundamentally sound. They looked more calm. The mechanics, they looked good yesterday from our pitchers outside of one. Everybody played well yesterday. Yeah. I thought that was a complete team effort. You're playing against one of the world's best pitchers in Logan Webb. You dominate him. You kick him out of the game with a lead. Hunter Greene has a lead going into the ninth, was going to probably get a win. And I will count it as a win for Hunter Greene instead of the no decision. But you're going to see a difference with the way this team plays. Outside of the one base running blunder that Jacob mentioned with Gavin Lux.
Which I legitimately do. I don't like to be an excuse guy. Nowhere in baseball does that ball not go home unless Ellie De La Cruz is in front of you.
Yeah.
So it's his first game with the Reds. It's his first game running behind Ellie. Obviously, again, you have spring training, but it's a whole different beast when you get out there on opening day. I'm sure you forget a lot of the things you practiced or learned that are different from the habits you've built up over your entire career. So I'm even putting that one as a pretty solid asterisk in terms of how I'm viewing this base running. So yeah, I mean there's so many positives.
It was just a fun.
Which is why it hurts so bad to have the loss, because this would have been an all-time positive.
I mean, defensively they look good. The base path, obviously, outside of that one, looked good. They look better, and that's because of Terry Francona. You're going to see a different Reds this year.
Yes.
I'm not going to sit here and say that Terry Francona is worth 25 wins, that he's worth 15 wins, that he's worth 10 wins. But Terry Francona is a better manager than David Bell. He's proven it. He's a world champion. He's a Hall of Fame manager. He's come in here for a reason. And I think he's going to make a difference. Yesterday, again, it's just when you win a lot of money and you're just playing with it eventually. He was playing with house money in the ninth inning, and it bit him a little bit. But I have so many positives to take away from that game. And I'm happy, really, truly, that going forward, I can watch a different brand of baseball than what I watched last year. Because I was worried about that coming into this year. You talk about whether or not it's the players, whether or not it's the manager. I do blame the players more than I blame the manager, just because they're the ones out there. But I understand the logic. I understand the feeling that a manager can give more to his team. Terry's going to do that this year, and that's what I'm excited for. It's not over. I'm going to look at the MLB standings real quick to check it out. We're only a game in. The Cardinals, as we all expected, lead the division. They're 1-0. The Cubs 1-2. They're in second, and the Reds, Pirates, Brewers, obviously all lost yesterday.
It's nice to see the NL Central still the absolute wagon we know and love.
Oh, yeah.
There was a point yesterday where the NL Central was, 0-5?
Oh, yeah.
Because the Cardinals game got rain delayed and the Cubs hadn't started yet? Yeah, I mean, that's just unbelievable. Shout out to the NL Central, man, because they truly do give us Reds fans like an extra 2.5 months a year.
They do.
Because they stink out loud. So we stay in the mix. It's really, really nice of them.
Looking for Saturday, obviously we're not going to be here tomorrow, but Saturday, it's Lodolo versus Justin Verlander.
Yeah. The one positive I would say out of that is Justin Verlander is 95 years old.
100 years old.
Maybe he's not Justin Verlander anymore. If he is, ruh-roh.
Bad. That would be bad. Saying that, Logan Webb's damn good. Logan Webb's their ace, and the Reds, again, were able to get to him through good at-bats, through good approach. So I'm not going to write that one off. The Reds have to focus and move on to winning this series now.
That's what they got to do, right?
They have to win the series.
You win these next two, everyone's back in by series 2?
Not even a question.
Yeah, I agree.
You win a series. I go by series wins, not individual wins. I know it's different. It's way different when you're talking about the when you're talking about opening day. But boy, they look good yesterday. 6 hits again for the Giants. 2 walks for Jung-Hoo Lee. Matt Chapman had a hit. 2 RBIs, obviously, in the home run for Heliot Ramos yesterday. Patrick Bailey, he had an RBI and a rip. Wilmer Flores, he hit the dagger to kill the Reds. Wilmer Flores is one of my favorite players, and one of my most favorite underrated players in baseball. He's really, really good. And Mike Yastrzemski, he had 2 hits yesterday. Outside of that, I mean, their lineup didn't look great. I'd say they've got a decent amount of names on that lineup that you're scared about, but the Reds pitching staff was able to shut them down.
Interesting nugget during the game that I thought was a little bit funny when we saw your guy, Elliot with an H, Heliot Ramos, hit the home run. He is the Giants' 19th left fielder since Barry Bonds. 19 left fielders in 19 years, so a new one every year since Barry Bonds in San Francisco, starting on opening day. Obviously, he played some for them last year, but 19 different starters at that position on opening day, which is just insane.
Reed said they still haven't had an outfielder who's hit 30 home runs, or a player that's hit 30 home runs? Any player?
I believe that is the stat.
That's insanity, man. I know it's a pitcher's ballpark out in San Fran, but I would have thought one lefty would be able to put that in the river out there and right there. But
yes, or last year was the first time ever that a righty put it in the river.
Yeah,
I believe, and I think it was Heliot Ramos.
Was it?
I believe so.
I think you're right. I'm not confident enough to say it. But again, the Reds take on the Giants this weekend. They got Saturday. Is that a 4:00 game?
It is.
Okay,
it is.
So
4:00 right into the Elite Eight. I mean, that's going to be a phenomenal day if the Reds can
Prime
get
day. Are you going to that one?
Sure I am.
Good. Is that kids' opening day?
It is kids' opening day, so I'm going to have to finagle through that. But I didn't get to do my Reds opening day drinking on Thursday, so now the kids are going to have to watch.
That's fair. The kids are going to have to hear you yell and scream.
Yeah, I mean, that's not my fault.
1:40 on Sunday. 1:40 on Sunday. Obviously, again, the Giants pitching staff's loaded. They got Robbie Ray slated for that game.
It's supposed to be beautiful tomorrow.
Against Nick
Not
Martinez.
quite as nice on Sunday. So if you're deciding between the two, maybe lean towards tomorrow.
But it's going to be a fun. I promise you right now. I'm not saying they're a playoff team, but they're an exciting brand of baseball. I promise you. The Reds are going to be fun to watch this year. You got a couple generational superstars on the team, and you got a lineup that looks better than I think it probably is. I know the outfield's a mess. I think that's going to be fixed. By the way, Jake Fraley didn't contribute anything, a lot offensively, I should say. I don't want to say anything. He didn't contribute a lot offensively. Had an absolutely incredible catch. Was it the 8th inning?
Yeah,
7th inning or 8th inning?
Kept the game tied.
So, again.
Or kept the Reds in the lead at the time.
They believe in Jake Fraley. They believe he can be that guy. I'm happy that was the case. But now, we're going to switch over to talk about some other sports. We got a Bengals segment. We got a March Madness segment. So we're gonna continue on here. Thank you for listening to us about the Reds there. I know Chatterbox Reds does a very good job. We just have some Reds thoughts, for you as well, and we wanted to get those out. So off the bench, Chatterbox Sports. Casey, Elliott, and Jacob here live from Hamilton, Ohio. The sun is shining.
Great.
The vibes I have.
My left leg
the Reds,
is 25 degrees minimum warmer than the rest of my body.
There we go. I love that.
I mean, at least.
Like
I'm just getting the reverberation of the sun over here. It's great.
Positive vibes only. The Reds are 1-0, asterisk 0-1.
That's right.
1-0 through 8 innings. 1-0 through 8 innings.
We're going to follow the Reds' first 5 record this year.
Correct. We're going to do it the whole way.
I think so.
But see, I'm not confident in the bullpen anymore. I felt great yesterday.
I did too.
After the bullpen. I don't even. But okay, this is where I'm wrong. I don't count Ian Gibaut as part of the bullpen. I don't count him as part of the bullpen. I know he's there. That's where he pitches, but he's not a part of the bullpen.
That's what he does.
He comes. That's Terry Francona.
He led the league in innings.
Terry, I know you don't know me.
Led the team in innings.
Terry, I know you don't know me. I met you once. I love you, Terry. He's going to be the guy, I promise you, when you're up by 15 or you're down by 15, he's the guy that's going to give you 4 innings of shutout baseball. That's when Ian shines. Or he's not going to be on the roster anymore. I don't know. Your choice.